we're going to start off by making a circle. You can use a magic circle if you want to, but I'm going to do it this way. I'm chaining 5 and then slip stitching into the first chain. Okay, we're going to slip stitch into this last chain, and after we slip stitch, we're going to pull the tail tight so it won't be loose. Okay, on to round 1. We're going to start off by chaining 3. Okay, and then we're going to make a double crochet into the circle. And then we're going to chain 1 afterwards. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets. And we're going to continue this double crochet and chain 1 pattern. Okay, now that we've made it to the end, we're going to slip stitch into that 3rd chain that we made earlier, and then we're going to start on row 2. Okay, now we're starting on row 2. This is our increasing round. We're going to start off by slip stitching into that chain 1 space. And next we're going to chain 3. And we're going to double crochet after we chain 3 into that same stitch. Then we're going to chain 1 and then do 2 double crochets into the same stitch. After we're finished with the double crochet, we're going to chain 1 and go into that next chain 1 space and double crochet 2 in that stitch, and then we're going to chain 1 and then double crochet 2 more in that same stitch. We're going to chain 1 again, and we're going to repeat this same process. I'm going to speed up the video right here. You can pause it if you want, and I'll meet you guys at the end of row 2. Okay, don't forget to slip stitch in that 3rd stitch at the end of row 2. And now we're about to go on to row 3. We're going to make a slip stitch in that chain 1 space. And then we're going to chain 3. We're going to put 2 more double crochets in that same chain 1 space. And then we're going to chain 1. And go on and put 3 in the next chain 1 space. And then we're going to continue to put 3 double crochets in each chain 1 space all the way around. I'm going to speed up the video right here, and I'll meet you at the end of row 3. By the way, I put the speed sign at the bottom of the video in the right corner. Okay, so we're finishing up on our last 3 double crochets in our chain 1 space, and then we're going to make a slip stitch in that chain 3 that we chained at the beginning of the row. Going on to row 4, another increase round. We're going to slip stitch twice this time, so in that first stitch and then into that chain 1 space. Okay, so we're going to chain 3 and do 1 double crochet, and then chain 1 and do 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Then we're going to chain 1 again and go into that next chain 1 space, do 2 double crochets, chain 1, and do 2 double crochets in that same stitch. Then we're going to chain 1 again, and then we're going to just repeat the process. Okay, now let's start row 5. Okay, we're going to start off with a slip stitch into our chain 1 space. We're going to chain 3, then do a double crochet into that same stitch, and then chain 1, and then do 2 double crochets in the next chain 1 space, and then chain 1, and then 2 double crochets into our last increase stitch that we did last round, and then chain 1. We're going to continue this same process through this whole row 5, and I'll meet you guys at the end. And now at the end of row 5, after we finish our last double crochets, 2 double crochets in our last stitch, we're going to slip stitch into that third chain that we started off with. Okay, now we're starting on the body of the hat. This is row 6. We actually started in row 5, but it's going to be the same as row 5. We're going to start by slip stitching into that chain 1 space, chaining 3, and then doing a double crochet into that same stitch, and then we're going to chain 1, and then do 2 double crochets into that next chain 1 space, and then chain 1. So we're going to continue with this pattern from row 6 to row 14, and we're going to meet at row 15. You could pause it here to keep on reading the pattern until we reach row 15 if you want. Alright, before we start row 15, I recommend that you flip your hat to the right side out so your ruffles could be on the right side of the hat. Okay, now we're at the beginning of row 15. We're going to start off by slip stitching into that chain 1 space. And then we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to half double crochet into that same stitch. And chain 1. And then half double crochet into the next chain 1 stitch. And chain 1. And we're going to repeat this same stitch until we reach the end of row 15. Okay, so starting off on row 16 is another increase round. We're going to do what we've been doing. We're going to start off by slip stitching into that chain 1 space, chaining 3, and then doing 1 double crochet into that same stitch, chaining 1, and then do 2 double crochets into that same stitch, chain 1, and go into the next chain 1 space and just repeat this same process. Okay, so now we're at the start of row 17. I'm going to start off by slip stitching into that chain 1 space. I'm going to chain 3. Then do 1 double crochet in that same stitch. Then chain 1 and do 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And we're going to continue on doing 2 double crochets and chaining 1 in each chain 1 stitch into the end of row 17. Okay, now we're on our final and last row, row 18. We're going to start off by slip stitching into that chain 1 space, chain 3, and then we're going to double crochet 4. You could call this a decreasing round if you want, because you won't be making any chain 1s, and we're going to be skipping stitches. Okay, so now we're going to skip 5. What I do is I skip the 2 double crochets, the space, and then the next 2 double crochets into that next stitch, and that's how I skip my 5. You could do it however and which way works best for you, but that's the way that I do it. And then we're going to continue on doing our 5 double crochets into the chain 1 stitch or space. And then we're going to skip our 5 stitches. And then repeat this process for the rest of row 18. Thank y'all so much for making it to the end of this tutorial. I really hope it was helpful, and if you really liked it, please leave a like and a subscribe. If you have any comments or concerns, please just leave them down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. I really hope y'all bucket hat turned out real gorgeous and beautiful, and I hope y'all have a nice one. Bye. Thank you for watching.